Hello and welcome everybody watching live. If you're listening to the podcast, welcome. This is episode 2 of the 4-part series, Go to War with Yourself. The main reason we started this 4-part series was to showcase our military community in Twitch and really show some love, learn from these guys, and have them teach us what they learned in the military and how we can learn something from them. So here in this episode, we're going to be talking about mental fortitude. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, anybody in the military, they're pretty tough SOBs. So I'm joined here today by GIBoots. We met a while ago on Twitter, actually. She won one of my giveaways, believe it or not, for some video editing. So let's throw it over to Miss Boots over here and see how she's doing. Hey.
Hi. Hello.
So
Yeah.
we met a while ago. It's nice to have you on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
If you guys are just tuning in, if you're listening again on the podcast, make sure to drop a like, drop a subscription. GI Boots, before we get started, I'm just going to call you Boots.
Okay, that's fine. I've been called much worse.
Tell us who you are and why you do what you do.
Who I am and why I do what I do. I'm GIBoots. My real name is Tammy. Not a lot of people call me that in the streaming community. I am a very I like to think of myself as a very strong person. I do have my weak moments, and I do what I do to remain strong and um, start over.
You're good.
uh, I do what I do to. I like helping other people, quite honestly.
There you
I've
go.
been doing it for years, and it's it's not something I'm always good at, but it's something that helps me to thrive and be who I am today.
Well, that's good. I think at most people's core, most people would tell you they like to help other people, right? So what is it that you do with that passion of yours of helping people? What are some of the things that you've been doing here lately with that?
Um, well, I volunteer a lot. I took a hiatus from volunteering, and I'm just getting back into it. It kind of helps me keep a lot of my military ties. Also, I'm retired Army. I did Army service for 24 years.
Wow.
Um, I had soldiers under me that I was responsible for, and I had to help. I had my own child who is now a young grown adult that I had to help. And he's currently serving, so I volunteer to do things for his unit and help his fellow soldiers out. It allows me to keep my military ties,
That's
and
cool.
so does my job. I work for the federal government. A lot of my clientele or customers are military, some of whom I left behind when I retired, so I really get to keep in touch with them. And I love working with soldiers primarily, but people as a whole. Um,
Definitely.
I think everybody needs someone, to kind of fall back on and, get a little assistance from. I'm even one of those people. I need help from other people as well. So to me, it's all about kind of like paying things forward and helping others.
I absolutely. There is that goes without saying. Everybody needs somebody in their corner. So I'm glad that you're volunteering with your son, and I'm glad that you're taking that upon yourself to invest in these soldiers' lives. And I would agree with you. I mean, I'm the same way. So guys, I'm Chase. I'm the host of the podcast. I run Premier Esports with my partner Will, and one of the main reasons why I started doing it was because it helped other people. And when I'm having a tough day, where life's getting me down, I'll turn to our guys and I'll say, hey, you know what? Like, you guys are the reason why I'm doing this, and that makes me feel really good. So yeah, I mean, I think I can personally attribute to that mindset. So you said you were in the army for 24 years. Is that considered
Hmm.
like a full term? Like, is that as long as you can go? What's the longest you can go?
No, you can actually go over. So I did 12 years active duty and 12 years National Guard. The I've seen people with 30 years plus actually in the military. They're usually higher ranking.
Why would they want to leave?
But I mean,
Right.
um, but in the reserves and National Guard, you can be in for a long time. I don't think there's a cutoff by your rank. Like for example, active duty, if you're a specialist or an E4,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's changed, but you couldn't have more than 12 years total in service. You either had to get promoted or they would pay you to get out. It's called RCP. You reached your retention control point.
Right.
So yeah, I
So
don't
you
think there's a
left
cutoff
willingly?
on time. I left the active duty willingly. It was a decision that I made being a single mom with my son who was young at the time.
Mm-hmm.
However, I did not have a break in service and I went straight into the National Guard. And I also worked full time for them. And the reason I did that was for location continuity. I didn't have to relocate him and my
Yeah.
life every basically 3.5 years.
Right. I think that's a big
But
motivator for a lot of people.
yeah, um, it was it was a it was a bad decision for me, myself, and I, as far as my military career goes, because I was more than halfway done. But as a parent, it was the best decision I could have ever made, and I wouldn't take it back for the world.
That's all that matters then. And
Hmm.
so when you were active duty, your MOS was what?
My MOS was an 88 Mike when I was active duty. That was a truck driver, basically transportation.
So for those of you that don't know, that's not like big rigging hauling down the road. I don't think, right? Boots.
Oh, yes, it is.
Is it?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Oh,
it is. I drove tractor trailers, 40, 60-foot trailers. I hauled a lot of equipment. Yes, it is. It
well, when we were
absolutely
talking
is.
before, it didn't sound like that.
Well, I mean, it depends on what unit you're in and what kind of equipment they have and what their mission is and and if you're in a support battalion, which I always ended up being in, it depends on who you're supporting. Some units have, 5-ton cargo trucks, deuce and a halves, and then others have, I can't even think off the top of my head. But
That's
I
like,
drove buses. I drove tractor trailers. I drove Humvees. I drove everything except for a het and a super het, which is what I wanted to drive. But they're huge. It's the tractor itself is ginormous. It's like a house. That's an exaggeration, but you could practically live in it. It was huge.
wow. Well, that sounds cool.
Hmm. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Is that would you say that that was a very challenging job?
Um, no and yes. It was challenging because I was on the road quite often, especially when I was an instructor driver.
Mm.
As far as doing the job itself, it wasn't challenging. Um, and it also, I would say yes, for some parts of the time that I did that because a lot has changed over the years. And back when I was in it was peacetime. Um, a lot of things weren't taken seriously when it came to the female versus male ratio. So some things were challenging on that aspect, but as time went on, it got to be easier and easier.
Well, that's good. I think any job that you have has its toughness, which I guess kind of brings us to our next topic here. When you were in active duty, or even when you did your other stint there, what kind of like experiences that you were taught maybe in your time being in the military? What are some things that you like really learned that kind of helped you push on? I mean, 24 years in anything, it's not easy to have that kind of tenure doing anything. If I told you I was going to do one push up a day for 24 years, I wouldn't be able to do it probably. But that's just me.
Sure you would. Sure you could.
24 years is a long time to do anything. I don't care who you talk to.
That's
So,
true.
what did you learn from it? Is there any like key takeaways?
Yeah, of course. I still to this day live a lot of my life based on a lot of the Army values that were instilled upon me. I'm kind of, like I said before, old school Army. When I joined originally, it was peacetime. And the Army motto was "Be all you can be," not Army of one, and not not whatever the new Army mottos are.
Hmm.
And you know,
I didn't even
one
think
of the
about that.
things,
That's crazy.
yeah, the Army itself has gone through a lot of change, and I got to experience a lot of that, which was pretty cool. Um, and witnessing it evolve, it was really cool. But uh, one primary thing that I was taught was to never give up. Like, kind of like, if you fail, you get up and you try again, and you just keep trying until you get it. And you
Mm.
know,
We talked about
it's
that last week a
okay.
little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you guys did. That's right. It's okay to fail. It really, really is.
it's
As long
required.
as, yeah, it's only going to make you stronger and better at what you do. And uh, a lot of it has to do with your own personal mental status. You have to at some point start believing in yourself. It's human nature to doubt yourself, um, and to be afraid and think, I don't think I can do it. No, I can't do it, or whatnot. But um, at
Facts.
some point, you just gotta psych yourself out and do it.
What are you waiting
And,
for?
and yeah, you just gotta do it. And it takes time. I mean, I don't think anyone is expected to do anything really good right away, or be successful in anything right away, or be strong about something right away. Um, and that's okay. It takes practice, but you do have to have the right mindset for it. If you're constantly going to doubt yourself, and you're constantly going to be hard on yourself and down yourself and not believing yourself, it makes achieving whatever goals that you have a lot tougher. You're basically battling against yourself.
Mm. That is some wise words there. So, you told us about stuff that you learned. What is it that like someone could do? Like if they were beating themselves up, like what kind of I don't know. What how did you learn that other than saying, just get back up and do it again? Is there
I know this is going to sound silly, but one thing that I do a lot is a pro and con list.
I love
Um, I'll
those.
I'll actually take whatever it is that I'm trying to focus on, and if it's something that I want to achieve, I'll do a pro and a con list. And 99% of the time, when you do things like that and you really sit down and you think about it and you put your whole heart and mind into it, your your pros are going to outweigh your cons, and then you have to start focusing more on the pros. And I do that a lot. Sometimes, there's no time to stop and write it down and sort it out, so you just kind of got to do it in your head. And Usually when someone is trying to do something, there's good reason behind it, and that's what you have to focus on.
I love it. I tell people this a lot. Um, I actually told somebody this yesterday. Before that, I told someone 3 weeks ago about this. But you have to, no matter what you do, no matter what job, what hobby, what relationship, you have to do what you're talking about. You have to make a list. You have to understand why, like what's good on each side and how it impacts you. But more importantly, you got to know why it's important to you. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't know why you do something, you're just going to keep feeling defeated and not understanding because you don't realize what's important to you. Does that make sense? And I'll give you an
Yeah,
example if you want.
go ahead.
Do you have Chick-fil-A where you are?
They just opened one 15 minutes from my
I'm
house.
sure that's exciting. I live right around the
It's
corner from
super
Chick-fil-A,
exciting.
right? So why are you excited about Chick-fil-A? Your face just lit up when I asked you about Chick-fil-A.
Because it's so delicious. I had never heard of Chick-fil-A until I lived in North Carolina, actually. And then I live in Washington right now, and they opened one up in Tacoma. It was really, really far away
I'm sure it
from
was
my
packed.
house, but from work, from Post, from Fort Lewis and Camp Murray, it's like a 15-minute drive.
That's nice.
But being at home, sometimes you want a couple
You need the
nuggets.
Lord's
Those
chicken.
Chick-fil-A nuggets. Yes, it is the Lord's chicken. I have never had any chicken like that. It almost shouldn't be fast food, but it is. But it's so tasty, delicious.
So I was
It's good.
reading a book one time and someone said that the reason why Chick-fil-A is as successful as they are is not because they sell chicken. People
True.
love Chick-fil-A because why they sell Chick-fil-A, what their company believes in. And that's just a perfect example. If
Hmm.
you go around in life trying to find your Chick-fil-A but keep selling Burger King, you're going to be disappointed all the time. You know what I mean? You got to find your why, and that's what will really attract people. But we got real off topic. I love Chick-fil-A too.
Yeah.
So,
It's a great company. It's a great company. They have good morals, they have good values. And a lot of people like what they stand for.
exactly. So, I want to get us back on topic here. This
Okay.
is the one that when I had asked you to be a part of this podcast, I'll be honest with you. You were the first person that came to my mind. And it was, could you describe a time that you had to be, like your only option was mentally tough? And
Mhm.
what did you learn going through that? And maybe somebody out there right now is in one of those situations, and maybe you can have that opportunity to be that light for that person. So we'll turn it over to you.
Okay, so I think you're referring to having to be mentally strong for what I recently went through. Um, Long story short, for those of you who don't know me, I found out really quickly last year that I had cancer, and it's a rare cancer. It's called bile duct cancer. I had a surgery, and then I went through chemo and radiation, and I just finished it this past May. It's been a mentally and it's been mentally and physically challenging. Um, and I learned during this through the support of others um, that you have to have the right mindset, and it's so important to have the right mindset um, to help keep you going and to
Mm,
help you thrive. There were a lot of times where I felt like beat down. I didn't want to go through some of what I was going through anymore. I wanted to give up. And it's very similar to being in the military and having people say, "No, no, you can do it. You gotta put your mind, into it and your heart into it." And I don't think I could have done a lot of what I did just me being my own person
Mm.
if I didn't have my military background behind me. The military is not for everybody, you
Not
know,
for me.
um, but I firmly believe that's okay. I firmly believe that it made me a lot stronger um, as a human being. When
Right.
I think about how I was before I joined the military compared to, how I was after being in the military for a few years, it's been a ginormous transformation. And you don't just get physically tough in the military, you get mentally tough as well. I mean, you get what you put into it. Not everybody who is in the military, left with all of that either.
Yeah, definitely.
So, um, I think that a lot of what I learned, what I saw, and what I experienced in the military helped me be as strong as I could be during my cancer treatment. Um, and being strong helps you feel good, and that helped me get through it as well. So I got sidetracked and I lost my train of thought.
Well, hey, I mean, your answer was good enough. I mean,
Okay.
that's. I think for anybody listening, I don't know if you've been following what my company's been doing, what Premier's been doing, but I think it's a great transition. I did want to talk about this during the podcast today. Is we just partnered up with Soft Giving, which is a newer company that partners creators with charities. This podcast is not sponsored by Soft Giving. I do really like what they do, but we also just partnered with Stand Up to Cancer. And that disease is something that is impacting everybody in some kind of way. So I mean, to hear stories like this, and to hear how you overcame it and became a better person from it, I'm sure somebody could use to hear that right now. So thank you for sharing that, first of all. And if anybody that's listening wants to contribute to the fight against cancer, we are still raising money this week until Sunday for Stand Up to Cancer. I think the last time that I looked, we were at like $2,600 in 4 or 5 days raised. So
Wow.
a really amazing job from the team, just putting that word out there, and everybody's community's coming together and raising money for the cause. So if that's something you want to do, you can head over to our website, click on our blog. We have a post about it, or just Google Premiere and Stand Up to Cancer. I'm sure it'll be up there in Google. But yeah, so thank you for sharing your story there.
It's my pleasure.
Now, I know everybody here. If you're watching, if you're listening, and you know Boots from her channel, she's a content creator. I mean, look at her headphones, look at her Yeti mic. She plays games. So you've been a creator, started Mixer, moved Twitch.
I did.
Okay.
I started Mixer
How long ago?
early. So I want to say like maybe February or March of last year. And then I stopped streaming, and then more stuff happened besides what happened to me. Mixer is no more, and
Rip.
so I had to make that transition. But I started as a viewer first on Twitch. I had a lot to learn because I had never really visited Twitch. I don't want to get off topic, but
Yeah, whatever. I
I,
have no timetable here.
I learned, what it was like to be a viewer on Twitch, and, some of the buttons and stuff. And then I took my time getting back on my feet. I wanted to get to streaming again. A lot of people were asking me when I was going to start, and they kind of gave me, a nice gentle kick in the butt to get back at it. I relocated my entire office, so I, had to do a new setup. And my purpose when I came back was to come back with a vengeance. So That's what I'm, excuse me, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm still learning the Twitch thing, but it's definitely an experience. The whole Twitch community has been extremely welcoming to a lot of us mixer people, or I think they call us Twixers.
Yeah, I've
Twixers,
seen that
yeah.
go around, those
Hmm.
merchandise shirts and stuff. I would
Yeah.
say when, at least from, I stopped streaming in September of last year to do this as much as I could. And I'm only just now, maybe in the last 2 or 3 months, finding my feet again, getting my time management down with doing things for Premiere and doing cool little live streams like this. And I will say, I really do. I do miss it. I was watching some old clips, and I was like, ugh, I need to go back. I need to
I
go
love it.
back.
Should. It's great. It's almost fulfilling when you get to connect with so many different people from so many different walks of life and all over the world. It's amazing how it brings basically all of us together, no matter where you are. And it's fun. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, that was actually what I was gonna say, and I forgot while I was talking. Um, I heard a lot of people were scared that like there's so many creators on Twitch that they were gonna like feel like they weren't, welcomed, or they didn't know anybody. I'll be honest with you, I don't get that vibe at all. I
Yeah,
don't know
I
about
agree.
what you think, but I mean, I feel like it's actually, this is my opinion, so everybody that feels the opposite of me, I'm sorry, this is just how I feel. I think it was really good for a lot of people. Honestly, I do. It was bad
I
for
agree.
some people, but I think it overall it has been good for the ecosystem.
When you think about how a lot of people started on Mixer, they started with nothing.
Yeah.
And I think they got in that comfort zone as they, built everything up. And then having to relocate to Twitch was scary, or Facebook or wherever they chose to go. It's a whole new platform, and there's even more, people that you don't know, and you have to get to know, all these new people. And I think it was for a lot of people, the problem was
They
getting out
didn't.
of their comfort zone and having to
Yeah,
start all over again. It was probably pretty frustrating.
definitely. I think it revealed a lot of mental toughness, if you will, in a lot of people that had something, for a while and then had it ripped away and
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to do it again, And I can't blame
Mm-hmm.
I can't blame them for it, I mean,
No,
it sucks having spent years and then to do what they did, That's just, no one likes that, right? But I
no.
guess that's a really great transition though. So, what kind of advice are you, over the your experience and your time as a creator and a gamer and just your collective wisdom there, if you had to share anything, with a newer content creator, a newer, let's say, hopeful, esport player, maybe somebody that's in college that wants to be a full-time creator, or even, someone young that wants to be a YouTube star, which, by the way, is the number one choice for kids in school now, I hear.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
it's pretty insane how many. My wife is an elementary school teacher, and she said she hears that all the time. But what kind of advice would you have for people about being mentally
um,
strong
well, don't give up.
in relation
If
to
you,
gaming? Sorry, I didn't finish my
yeah,
question.
no, it's okay. Um, So I'm kind of going through that right now. I'm still starting over, but it's getting better every day. Honestly, I look at the analytics after each stream, and I see that it's doing better. It's 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 me starting with nothing and working my way up to something. I mean, I had a little bit, but you just can't give up. You have to have confidence in yourself primarily. I mean, if you can't have the confidence in yourself, then you're not ready to take any future steps. You have to be confident in yourself, and then you have to believe in yourself. I think think being confident and believing are the same, but they're also two different things. I more so think they're two different things, but a lot of people would argue that. Um, if you are new to it, um, engage yourself, and prepare your mind for putting yourself out there. I mean, not a lot of people start with a camera. They start with a mic.
Right.
And, just talking to strange people in a stream it can be scary if you don't know them, but you have to talk to yourself a lot, and that helps you build confidence. And then when people start coming in and talking to you, you're going to be a lot more confident and comfortable talking to them. Um, don't be afraid to have, a good stream or a bad stream, or a good game or a bad game. I mean, there's so many different content creators out there. There's some people that are really good at games and they're super entertaining at the same time.
Right.
There's some people who are really good at games, but they're not very good at entertaining. And then there's people
Shots
like
fired.
me who are really bad at games, but I love socializing and entertaining. I mean, I have good games too, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, I'm pretty bad. But yeah, you have to believe in yourself. That's first and foremost. You have to believe in yourself. Then you have to believe in what you're doing. You have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? And you have to know what the reasons are, and then you have to focus on those reasons. And if it's something that you really truly want, then you have to go at it. You don't have to go at it 24 hours a day. I wouldn't recommend that, but I mean, I would start small and invest a little bit of time until you get comfortable, and then more and more. And then I don't know, at some point your community will grow. You'll have connections with other people. You'll get to know other people and learn other things, and you'll gain different strengths. You'll find out other people's weaknesses, and you'll start wanting to help make other people strong.
She's giving you guys, if you're listening right now, she's giving you like how to go from brand new to ninja right now.
I'm not ninja.
I know. This is great advice though, for anybody that's new. I mean, if you take even one thing out of what you just said, it'll enhance your career, it'll enhance your experience, and you'll probably have more fun. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off if you have something else that you wanted to add to that, but I was going to ask for anybody that wants to, follow you, catch you next time you're live, where can they find you?
Oh yes. So on Twitch TV, I'm GI_boots. And then on Twitter, I'm at GI space boots. That's GIBoots.
And one more time, it was Twitch TV/_boots.
Twitch.tv/GI, as in GI Jane, GI Boots, but GI_boots.
Got it.
BOOTS.
Perfect. And if you guys like the podcast, make sure you drop a follow. We do it every Thursday, 8 p.m. We have different guests every week covering different topics. Right now we are smack dab in the middle, episode 2 of Go to War with Yourself. And we're talking about mental fortitude. So, Boots, I appreciate you joining us. Everybody hopefully learned something. And thank you for sharing your story. And, I really hope that, you impacted somebody else today. So
Thanks for having me.
This will be
I hope so too.
This will be the end of the podcast. And I guess if anybody has any questions right now in the chat, if you would like to answer some questions, if anybody has them, we'll give them the opportunity to do that now.
Okay.
Anybody have
I
questions?
missed a second.
Also, I apologize, guys. I can't respond to the chat while you guys are typing. We got to get the segment in for the podcast. So, hello, Miss Psycho. Thanks for joining us. Bandit, hello. And Rex, Cars a lot. Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for joining us for the podcast. What'd you guys think? Was it good? So funny about the delay. There's a little bit of a delay there.
Oh, yeah.
If you want my opinion, I thought you did stellar. You made.
I was really super nervous. Thank you.
No, when I don't have to do a lot of talking, that's how you know your guest is having a good time and they're doing a good job.
Oh, I love to talk. I do all the talks.
Yeah, no, you did great. I say a lot of the times when you have content creators and you tell them that you're recording them and not doing it live, they freak out. Hey, what's up, Psycho? How you been, man? It's been a long time no see. Thanks for stopping in. You and your wife are really great people.
Aw, thank you. That means a lot to me, Psycho. You did all the listens. I did all the talks. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Still nervous.
So for those of you guys wanting to know when it's going to be available, I typically post all of our podcast of the current week next week on that following Tuesday. I'll probably have the YouTube video up by this weekend. It'll be up on YouTube. Just search up Premier Esports. It'll be in there. And then our podcast is available on all the podcast platforms. So thank you, Boots. And thank you guys for stopping in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It was an absolute pleasure. Thanks, guys. We'll go ahead and head out on that note.